Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Constantinides and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Constantinides and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. On April 26, President Biden unveiled a new set of sweeping changes to Title IX rules, which will protect survivors of abuse, LGBTQ students, and student parents. The latest regulations reinstitute protections for student survivors of sexual assault and harassment that were rolled back during the Trump administration. Title IX is the common name for a federal civil rights law that bans sex-based discrimination against students, employees, and others affiliated with schools that receive federal funding. The administration's new rules broadly protect against discrimination based on sex, but they don't offer guidance around transgender athletes. Under Biden's new Title IX rules that will take effect August 1st, there will be protections from discrimination based on gender identity for the first time. Critics say that these new changes will harm female athletes in that they will now allow transgender women to participate on women's teams. The new changes will also prohibit schools from barring trans students and teachers from using the school's facilities and pronouns that align with their gender identities. Republican attorneys general in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, and Idaho filed lawsuits against the Biden administration, arguing that the rule exceeds the Education Department's authority, in part because it redefines sex to include gender identity. Florida's 6-week abortion ban has come into force, closing the door on the last major abortion access point in the U.S. South. Florida's new law restricts abortions after 6 weeks from the date of a woman's last menstrual period. Patients must also appear for 2 in-person appointments spaced at least 24 hours apart. The law includes limited exceptions for victims of rape, incest, or human trafficking up until 15 weeks of pregnancy, with patients required to show documentation such as medical records or a police report. It also includes exceptions for fatal abnormalities and for the life of the mother. But the change may be undone as soon as November, when Floridians will vote on a ballot measure known as Amendment 4, which could protect abortion access until around 24 weeks of pregnancy. YouTubers Logan Paul and KSI founded the drink Prime Hydration in 2022. While their products have become increasingly popular and profitable, the company continues to face class action suits over the ingredients in their energy and sports drinks. According to the suit, the company was sued on April 8th over misleading and deceptive practices regarding the 12-ounce energy drinks containing between 215 to 225 milligrams of caffeine, as opposed to the advertised 200 milligrams. On top of this, Prime is dealing with another class action suit from 2023, alleging a flavor of the sports drinks contains PFAS forever chemicals. The suit alleges that an independent third-party testing did end up finding the presence of PFAS chemicals in Prime Hydration's grape flavor. The second suit was dismissed because the plaintiff did not allege a cognizable injury and did not present facts of a concrete and imminent threat of future harm. The Department of Transportation has unveiled new plans that provide more transparency on airline ticket prices and refunds for canceled or altered flights. Under the new regulations, airlines will be required to refund passengers in cash for canceled or significantly changed flights. A flight is considered significantly changed if the departure time is changed by 3 to 6 hours depending on domestic or international flights, if the departing or arriving airport is changed, if the number of connections has increased, if a passenger is downgraded to a lower class of service, or if the changes are less accessible to those with disabilities. The new rule gives airlines 20 days to automatically issue the refunds in cash or in the same form of payment used to purchase the tickets. The agency also announced a new requirement that airlines and ticket agents must disclose upfront any fees they charge for checked bags, carry-on bags, and canceling or changing a reservation. The Transportation Department expects the rule to save consumers $500 million annually. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
James. He was surprised to find out that he has elevated blood pressure, which could turn into high blood pressure. So he talked with his doctor about a healthy path to get his numbers down. He quit smoking, which makes a big difference for his overall heart health. He also cut down on salt by watching out for high sodium on food labels and added a 30-minute walk 5 days a week to his routine. These healthy steps weren't easy, but lowering his blood pressure was worth it. Learn more about his healthy path.
Welcome back. At Tuesday night's Town Council meeting, Braintree Mayor Erin Joyce stood in front of the council to present the town's fiscal year 2025 budget. During her presentation, Joyce went into detail about the $18 million structural deficit, the town's spending, and the 2.5 override. Here's more from Mayor Joyce on the town's budget.
I want to take a moment to pause, to take a moment and appreciate being at this podium this evening with the immense opportunity to present my first town budget, which comes with a few other firsts. The first budget submitted by a female mayor, and the first budget presenting voters with the option for an override request. An opportunity for voters to have a say in potential additional town resources to fund the services and programs that make Braintree, well, Braintree. We also knew that going into fiscal year 25, we wanted to have a 3-year look ahead for our budget, and that any planning we did for fiscal year 25, both in revenue projections and spending, would be tied to that look ahead. We wanted to keep our eyes on long-term stability and how decisions we make this year could impact our financial situation moving forward, for the better or for the worse, and I hope we're able to describe that in a way that is approachable this evening. I'm especially thankful to our big 4 departments, school, fire, police, and public works, because collectively these departments make up the majority of our spending and have spent exhaustive amounts of time and budget iterations in the past few weeks directed at understanding the true all-in yearly cost of department operations so we could best plan for fiscal year 25 and beyond. To support the balanced approach we are proposing by presenting the option of a tax override for fiscal year 25. A tax override is a tool communities can use to boost the amount of town revenue that comes in annually through property taxes. Without asking the voters, cities and towns can increase their tax levy, which is the amount of money they collect in property taxes, both residential and commercial, by up to 2.5% every year. Braintree does add this percent every year. Even with adding this every year, we're falling behind, as you've seen on our past slides, as evidenced here tonight and in many conversations we've been having year over year around town about why we can't get ahead of the problem, why are we always cutting, why are we always talking about what we can live without. Where we are today has not happened overnight. What the town brings in for revenue is simply not keeping up with even our operational spending, let alone allowing us to get ahead to a point where we can invest in new buildings, new schools, new parks. We are also not seeing large amounts of new growth or economic development that could potentially offset our 2.5% restriction. We, as administrators, cannot add more than 2.5% to the tax levy because of a law passed in the 80s that restricts the amount that cities and towns can raise property taxes. If you've heard of Proposition 2.5, that's what that law refers to. So a Proposition 2.5 override, or Prop 2.5 override, or simply override, is a ballot question that can allow cities and towns to, in a single year, add more than 2.5% to their tax levy. The ballot question for an override asks residents to raise taxes. The ballot question is put out to voters in a special election that is held only for the purpose of the question. Tonight, we are proposing an override to raise $8 million more annually, and later in the meeting, the Town Council will be voting on potential same-night action to call for this special election on June 15th for the purposes of asking voters if they will support this motion. I imagine in the weeks ahead, we'll foster more challenging conversations, and I know that Braintree will be stronger and fiscally resilient at the end of this process, no matter the outcome. I hope I've been able to show you the options for moving forward in a way that's understandable and able to be shared and talked about amongst your neighbors and the town. And I hope as we work together in the next few weeks, our view and outlook will change from feeling like we're never going to pull out of this, to embracing a solution that will work. At the end of the day, I do believe very strongly in allowing voters to have a say in what we do, but I want to make sure they have as much information as possible, because the only way through this challenging time is to band together as a community and have these challenging conversations together. Thank you so much.
With this, the town is going to hold a special election in June to ask its voters to decide on the permanent $8 million tax override. Town Clerk James Casey said there would be no early vote by mail option for the June 15th special election. This is due to several reasons, including cost and the short window to get ballots mailed out in time. If a voter is unable to show up to their polling place in person, they can still vote with an absentee ballot. For more information on how to get an absentee ballot, head to braintreema.gov. Also at Tuesday's Town Council meeting, the Council voted on the rezoning of the St. Thomas More Church property. Although there were many mixed reviews from residents on the new project at the site of the church, the Council did end up approving the rezoning of the property. Developer George Clements plans to turn the property into townhomes for people 55 and older. Here's more from the developer and councilors on the rezoning.
Good evening, George Clements. So just to kind of reiterate Attorney Modestino's explanation, we've been looking at the St. Thomas More property for the better part of 4 years, working with the Archdiocese on this. We view this as a tremendous opportunity, being one of the, in my belief, is one of the last large tracts of land to create this type of housing. I've looked at creating 55 plus housing in the community on several occasions, which have never come to fruition. I think in today's world, this is a dire need, this type of housing. I think it frees up some of the older folks that would like to stay in town, and enhancing upon all of the things that Mr. Modestino had spoken to earlier. But I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's going to provide the town significant tax revenue. This is a piece of property that's never paid a tax dollar to the town of Braintree. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to look at this and maximize those dollars. Certainly using the 55 plus would be the maximum extent of tax revenue from a development. It's not a redevelopment, it's a new development and new tax revenue. So hopefully that weighs in on your decision. But again, we are committed to this project. We do look forward to moving the process through as quick as possible so that we can deliver on our commitment. So I thank you all for your time this evening.
Mr. Clemens has stated it will be for 55 plus and others, but we're here tonight just for the zoning change, just so everybody is aware of that too, and not the specific aspects of the project. But some things over the years, Braintree is known to being not open for business. And there's local banks that I've heard, talk to them specifically, and they will tell businesses, don't go to Braintree, they're going to make it difficult for us. We can't keep saying no, as the mayor has presented her budget before. We have a revenue problem, but we have a spending problem. And we can't fix our revenue without new growth, and that's not the only reason that I'm for this. I've been involved in town government for over 16 years, and anything that's become, I was on the school committee, and now I've been on the council. Residents don't like change, and I get it. I've been in Braintree since 1981. There was the small Stop and Shop. I lived over on St. Clair Street with just a little CVS. Now it's a huge plaza. If we kept saying no, none of the development in this town would have happened. We wouldn't have progressed and evolved as a town. So nobody likes change, and I understand that. We've heard from so many residents, both for and against, so it's not just all residents who are saying no to this. There's a lot of residents who we've received emails from, I've talked to residents, so there is definitely a split. Mr. Clemens is a developer who's a Braintree resident, and I think for him to be living in Braintree and want to do business in Braintree, I think it's a little bit maybe harder for him, because if the project doesn't go as planned and he does, upset residents, he's got to be the one who shops here and he raised his kids here. They went to our Braintree schools. So the fact that he wants to do business here, I appreciate that. The Archdiocese has left that property abandoned for years. It's an eyesore. Who knows what's in the building that used to be the May Center that's been vacant for decades or however. But I am supporting it. I do listen to both of you. I appreciate all the residents coming out for and against this. Again, I will be supporting this tonight, though. Thank you, Mr. President.
I would love to hear alternative solutions, ladies and gentlemen, because that's the name of the game. If we don't like something, please give an alternative solution instead of boo-hooing it and saying, I don't trust them, it'll never work. Well, fine. What will you work in your mind? That's engagement, and that's what we've been doing here.
As the end of the school year in Braintree approaches, seniors have a little leeway to have a lot of fun. One of the long-running traditions for graduating seniors in Braintree is called the Senior Assassin. The game usually involves high school seniors tracking other seniors until they squirt their target with a squirt gun. Braintree Police announced that as seniors continue this tradition, it has become a growing safety concern over the years. In their statement, BPD said, quote, "This activity can appear suspicious and concerning to the general public, resulting in calls to 911. Various call types we have received include participants trespassing on private property and driving dangerously in residential neighborhoods and major roadways, which puts themselves and residents at risk." End quote. This year, police are asking community members to be aware of the game, but if residents do see anything suspicious, to call police instead of investigating themselves. Braintree's Hazard Mitigation Planning Committee developed a strategy plan for reducing current and future natural hazard risks and impacts for climate change. When implemented, the Hazard Mitigation Plan makes the town more resilient to natural hazards such as flooding, snowstorms, high winds, and extreme temperatures. Federal Emergency Management Agency approval and town adoption of the Hazard Mitigation Plan allows the town to apply for pre- and post-disaster hazard mitigation grant funds. This is a commentary period for town residents who may have any questions or concerns. To see the plan, head to braintreema.gov, and to send any comments, send an email to kphelan@braintreema.gov. There's a new resource in Braintree for those looking for a second chance. On Friday, the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office opened the Hope Center, which provides services like 12-step recovery plans, peer support groups, and food, housing, and employment assistance for people transitioning from incarceration. Sheriff Patrick McDermott said the program has been years in the making and is all about reducing recidivism. The center is funded through the sheriff's budget and is free for participants. In a statement, the sheriff said, quote, "You're not forced to come here. It's voluntary and it's never ending. So say you get your services and in a few months down the road something happens, you hit a bump in the road, call us, come back," end quote. The Braintree Community Partnership on Substance Use is partnering up with Nurtured Roots LLC to put on the event Mindful Families at the Town Hall. The event is aimed to help Braintree residents learn how to reduce stress, improve focus, manage emotions, and experience relaxation of mind and body with your family. The program is free and includes take-home materials and drawings for a variety of books and mindfulness tools. Join the fun on Sunday, May 5th from 1 to 3 p.m. For questions, please contact Jennifer Lynn at nurturedrootsma@gmail.com or call 603-591-7484. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, a retired captain from the Quincy Fire Department and the author of the book Fighting Fire, A Proactive Approach. Do you know that electrical failures are the third leading cause of home fires? Cords and plugs led in this category, while extension cords dominated this category. To avoid these fires, plug heat-generated appliances directly into an outlet. Do not use power strips or extension cords on these appliances. Power strips are designed for use with electronics only. Do not put electrical cords underneath rugs or pinch behind furniture. Do not overload outlets. Charge laptops and phones on hard surfaces only. Finally, if an electrical device is not working as designed, it is time to repair it or replace it. Be conscious of your home environment and be safe, and thank you for doing so.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. 80 residents are now displaced after a fire burned through a multi-story apartment building in Randolph. The fire broke out on Sunday evening inside of the building at 60 Brittle Path Circle within the Woodview apartment complex. One resident of the complex jumped from the second-floor balcony before firefighters could get to him. He suffered minor injuries. Crews from several local fire departments battled the flames that spread up quickly through the roof. On Monday, the entire building was demolished, with residents unable to salvage anything inside. With 80 residents now displaced by the fire, the town of Randolph is accepting donations. At this time, gift cards and online money donations are the only ways to donate to the families affected by the Brittle Path Apartments fire. Food, clothing, and essentials are being coordinated through service agencies. Gift cards can be to local grocery stores, restaurants, pharmacies, clothing stores, and Visa gift cards. Cards can be dropped off at Randolph Town Hall, located at 41 South Main Street, the RICC, located at 128 Pleasant Street, or at the library, located at 2 North Main Street. To donate online, head to gofundme.com/f/Randolph Fire Recovery. A Quincy woman is sending messages to refugee children passing through the city that they are loved. Owner of Eyelash Salon, Thuy Lung, got 1,500 teddy bears, each dressed in a blue t-shirt stamped with the motto, "Quincy loves you." These teddy bears are gifts for refugee children passing through Eastern Nazarene College's processing center and temporary shelter. Lung has resonated with their stories deeply, as she and her 3 siblings fled southern Vietnam at a young age. In a statement, the business owner said, quote, "My journey was tough. As a kid, I remember all I wanted was a teddy bear," end quote. Since last summer, homeless refugee families have stayed at Eastern Nazarene College before hopefully finding permanent housing. The 3rd annual Quincy Multicultural Festival is scheduled for Saturday, May 11th. Cultural displays will fill Pageant Field for the festival that aims to highlight Quincy's diversity. The event will include performances, food from around the world, and displays put together by Quincy families to showcase their heritage. The festival is registered as a nonprofit organization, and the event will raise money to support families interested in participating. The Quincy Multicultural Festival is scheduled for noon to 4 p.m. on Saturday, May 11th. For more information, visit quincymulticulturalfestival.org. Experts believe the escalating conflict in the Middle East will cause gas prices to spike this summer, but that's not the only reason you should be prepared to spend more at the pump. According to AAA, gas stations will soon switch over to the summer blend fuel. The gas is better for the environment in warmer weather, but it also costs more to make. Summer fuel is more expensive than the winter fuel because it takes longer to produce and has a lower yield per barrel of oil. In addition, refineries need to meet 14 different fuel specifications for the summer months, which can complicate production and distribution. These complexities can add up to 15 cents per gallon to the cost of producing summer blend fuel. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more in entertainment.
Take steps to keep yourself and your family safe from ticks and the illnesses they can cause. Use EPA-approved tick repellents on your skin and clothes. Read and follow the directions. Wear light-colored clothing to make it easier to spot a crawling tick. Check for ticks on yourself, your kids, and your pets anytime you've been outdoors. Some tick bites can make you sick, but finding and removing a tick properly makes it less likely. Call your doctor if you start to feel ill or notice a rash near the bite. Play it safe when you're outdoors.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now we have 3 recommendations for you to watch. First, The Fall Guy follows battle-scarred stuntman Colt Seavers, who springs back into action when the star of a big studio movie suddenly disappears. As the mystery surrounding the missing actor deepens, Colt soon finds himself ensnared in a sinister plot that pushes him to the edge of a fall more dangerous than any stunt. The film stars Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. You can watch The Fall Guy now in theaters. Next, Tarot follows a group of friends who unwittingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within a cursed deck of tarot cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate, racing against death to escape the future foretold in their readings. The film stars Jacob Batalon and Larson Thompson. You can watch Tarot now in theaters. Finally, The Family Plan follows a former top assassin living incognito as a suburban dad must take his unsuspecting family on the run when his past catches up to him. The The film stars Mark Wahlberg and Michelle Monaghan. You can watch The Family Plan now on Apple TV. That'll do it for News Today. I'm Martha Constantinides, and thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.